60 seconds. That's how long Captain Alexis Rivera had before 47 United States Marines died in the valley below. Through the targeting display of her AH-64 Apache attack helicopter, she could see them, pinned down in a dried riverbed, surrounded on three sides by Taliban fighters firing from a mud brick compound 2 kilometers away. The compound. 8 enemy combatants with PKM machine guns and RPGs, and 12 Afghan civilians, women, children, elderly, trapped inside as human shields. Alexis's right hand hovered over the weapon systems. 2 options. AGM-114, Hellfire missile. 1 button, the compound vaporizes in 3 seconds. 8 hostiles dead, 47 Marines saved, but 12 innocent civilians gone. Or the M230 chain gun, the 30mm cannon, precision fire, surgical strikes through windows, possible to kill only the combatants. But the distance was 2.3 kilometers. The wind was gusting at 40 miles per hour. The margin of error was 3 inches. Her weapon systems officer's voice crackled. "Rivera, command says Hellfire. Take the shot." Alexis's finger moved toward the missile trigger, then stopped. "Negative," she said quietly, switching to cannon. "Rivera, you're insane. The wind—" "I know the wind, Graham. 60 seconds. Watch me." They'd told her she was too small for this. 5'2", 110 pounds. Not built for combat aviation. 60 seconds. She was about to prove them wrong. Fort Rucker, Alabama, 3 years earlier. Alexis Rivera stood before the Apache simulator. At 5'2", she had to crane her neck to see the rotor assembly. Behind her, whispers. How's she going to handle the Apache? That thing shakes you apart. Chief Warrant Officer Brennan approached, tall, 20 years of combat experience. "You're Rivera. You understand what you're getting into?" "Yes, sir." "The Apache's a flying tank. Pilots twice your size have washed out. The vibration alone, the stick forces, the G-forces." He paused. "I'm being realistic." "With respect, sir, I didn't come here to be realistic. I came here to fly Apaches." He studied her. "All right, let's see what you got." The first week was hell. The cockpit wasn't designed for someone her size. Feet barely reached the pedals. After her first flight, every muscle ached. In the barracks, she won't make it past month 1. Too small. Physics doesn't lie. Alexis thought about quitting. Then she thought about her grandfather, Army veteran, Purple Heart, told her the only limits that mattered were the ones she accepted. She got up at 4 a.m. and hit the gym. Week 2, she modified everything. Custom padding, pedal extenders, modified knee guards, every spare hour in the cockpit, finding workarounds. But Brennan noticed something else. Check her sim scores. Gunnery accuracy, 94%. Target acquisition, top 5%. Tactical decision-making, exceptional. "She can't physically handle it," one instructor said. "Look at the results, not her size," Brennan replied. Month 3, first major evaluation, live fire exercise. The scenario: insurgent compound, hostiles with anti-aircraft weapons, friendlies nearby, precision required. "Rivera, you're up. Target compound grid November 7-4. Friendlies 200 meters south. Weapons free, danger close." The compound sat in a valley. Wind from northwest at 25 miles per hour. Distance 1.8 kilometers. "Graham, I'm going cannon. Hellfire's too close to friendlies." Cannon at 1.8 K in this wind? That's a hell of a shot. Mark targets. The Apache banked. Her body absorbed the vibration. Muscles trained for exactly this. The compound appeared. 3 target buildings. Deep breath. Compensate for wind. Lead the target. Fire. First building. Direct hit, bank right, fire, second building, clean strike, third building, wind gust, compensate, fire, hit. "All targets destroyed," Graham said, surprised. Zero collateral. That was textbook. At debriefing, Brennan pulled her aside. 97% accuracy. In 25 miles per hour, crosswinds. At 1.8 kilometers. Best long-range precision I've seen from a trainee. Thank you, sir. They're going to say it was luck. Let them. He almost smiled. You graduate in 2 months. Where do you want to deploy? Wherever they need precision, wherever civilians are at risk. Afghanistan's hot, close air support, danger close engagements daily, perfect. Kandahar Airfield, Afghanistan, 18 months later. The briefing room smelled like dust and burnt coffee. 14 aviators watched the tactical map. Major Hendricks stood at the front. Tangi Valley, Taliban stronghold. Marine Recon Team Phoenix went dark yesterday. 47 Marines pinned down. Taliban on 3 sides. Satellite imagery appeared. Our mission? Extraction support. Apaches provide close air support. This is danger close. Precision is critical. His eyes found Alexis. Rivera, your lead Apache. Your precision work is why you're here. Rules of engagement, sir? Weapons free on confirmed hostiles, but civilian presence in valley. Positive ID before firing. 4 hours later, strapped into the Apache, Graham behind her, running weapon systems. Hellfire loadout 8, cannon 1,200 rounds. The rotor spun up. Familiar vibration. 3 years of training, 18 months of combat. But this was different. 47 Marines surrounded. The Apache lifted off. Tangi Valley appeared 20 minutes later. Through the targeting system, Marines in a dried riverbed. Taliban on ridges, 60 fighters. The compound 2 kilometers north. Multiple anti-aircraft positions, Graham called. F-16S screamed overhead. Bombs hit the ridges. Massive explosions. The compound remained untouched. All Apache elements. Compound not cleared. Civilian presence confirmed. Alexis studied her display. 8 Taliban fighters, but also civilians. Children, women, old men, a dozen or more. Rivera, Hendricks transmitted. We need to neutralize that compound. Machine guns suppressing Marines, but we cannot hit civilians. Understood. Can you make precision shots from distance? Distance, 2.3 kilometers. Wind, 40 miles per hour gusts. 8 fighters among 12 civilians. Fort Rucker, 97% accuracy. Affirmative. I can make the shot. Cleared for cannon fire. Precision only. The Apache banked toward the compound. Rivera, this is insane, Graham said. 2.3 K and 40 mile per hour wind with civilians. I know the math. Hellfire would be clean, Marines safe, and 12 civilians die. The compound filled her screen. Taliban fighters, muzzle flashes, and between them, civilians, old man, women, children. Target acquisition, 8 hostiles. I see them. Wind 42 miles per hour, gusting to 48. Radio crackled. Marine commander, air support Phoenix actual, taking heavy fire, 4 wounded, need position neutralized now. Finger hovered, Hellfire, cannon. Through the camera, a child 6 years old standing in courtyard frozen. Graham, mark all 8 targets. Targets marked. Apache shifted, compensating for wind. Phoenix actual, danger close inbound. Command ordering Hellfire. I didn't hear that. 60 seconds. Fire, first burst. 2 seconds flight time, direct hit. Target 1 eliminated. Bank left. Fire, hit. 2 down. Third window. Fire, hit. 3 down. Fourth window. Wind gust. Fire, miss. Missed. Breathe. Adjust. Fire, hit. 4 down. 4 eliminated. 4 remain. Target 5, courtyard. Fighter behind wall. 10 feet away, old man shielding children. No clean shot. Enemy at 50 meters. Steep dive. Maximum cannon depression. Fire. Rounds arced down. Fighter down. Civilians untouched. 5 down. Pull up. 2 left. Fire. Hit. 1 remaining. Last fighter grabbed woman. Human shield. Only head exposed. 10 inches wide. 2.4 kilometers, 45 miles per hour wind. You can't make that shot. 30 seconds. Wind, distance, movement, impossible. I didn't come here to be realistic. Fire. 3 seconds. Fighter's head snapped back. Woman dropped unharmed. All hostiles eliminated. 0 civilian casualties. Phoenix actual. Compound clear. You just saved 47 lives. Blackhawks extracted Marines. All safe. Back at Kandahar, debriefing lasted 3 hours. 98% accuracy, Hendricks said. Combat conditions, civilians in target area. I'm recommending you for Distinguished Flying Cross. They told me you were too small. Yes, sir. I'm writing Fort Rucker. Captain Rivera proves size doesn't determine capability. Skill does. Dedication does. Courage does. He extended his hand. 47 Marines go home because you refused the easy shot. Thank you. The Apache banked toward the compound. Alexis kept low, using terrain to mask their approach. Rivera, this is insane, Graham said. 2.3 kilometers and 40 miles per hour wind with civilians. I know the math. Hellfire would be clean, Marines safe. And 12 civilians die. Her hands moved across controls, bringing the Apache into position. The targeting reticle appeared. She zoomed in. The compound filled her screen, mud brick walls, small windows, courtyard. Through windows, Taliban fighters with machine guns, muzzle flashes. Between them, civilians. Old man with cane, women, children. Target acquisition, Graham said. 8 hostiles. I see them. Wind 42 miles per hour, gusting to 48. Radio crackled. Marine Commander, Air Support Phoenix Actual, taking heavy fire, 4 wounded. Need position neutralized now. Finger hovered. Hellfire, cannon, Hellfire. Compound disappears. 12 civilians gone, 47 Marines live. Cannon, precision fire. Maybe she makes it, maybe not. Through camera, she saw a child, 6 years old, standing in courtyard, frozen. Graham, mark all 8 targets. Rivera, mark them. Pause. Targets marked. Apache shifted, compensating for wind. Phoenix actual, danger close inbound. Command ordering Hellfire. I didn't hear that. 60 seconds. She fired. First burst screamed through air. 2 seconds flight time. Direct hit. Target 1 eliminated. Bank left. Fire. Hit. 2 down. Third window. Fire. Hit. 3 down. Fourth window. Wind gust. Fire. Miss. Missed 4. Wind shift. Breathe. Adjust. Fire. Hit. 4 down. 4 eliminated. 4 remain. Target 5, courtyard. Fighter behind wall. 10 feet away. Old man shielding children. No clean shot. Enemy at 50 meters. Steep dive. Maximum cannon depression. Fire. Rounds arced down. Fighter down. Civilians untouched. 5 down. Pull up. G-forces. Vision narrowing. 2 left. Fire. Hit. 1 remaining. Last fighter grabbed woman. Human shield. Only head exposed. 10 inches wide. 2.4 kilometers. 45 miles per hour wind. You can't make that shot. 30 seconds. She adjusted. Wind, distance, movement, 10 inches. Impossible. Brennan's voice. I'm being realistic. I didn't come here to be realistic. Finger tightened. She could feel everything. Apache vibration, wind data, the compound. Woman's terrified face, fighter's head, 10-inch target at impossible range. Breathing slowed. Heart rate dropped. World narrowed to targeting reticle. Wind, 45 miles per hour northwest. Compensate right, 4 feet 2 inches. Distance, 2,421 meters. Flight time, 2.8 seconds. Lead target. Movement, fighter shifting. Hostage struggling. Calculate intersection. Grandfather's voice. Only limits that matter are ones you accept. 3 years, Fort Rucker. They said too small. Apache would break her. Physics doesn't lie. 18 months Afghanistan, danger close missions, precision strikes, 0 civilian casualties. Now this, most impossible shot, 10 inches, 2.4 kilometers, 45 miles per hour wind, hostage's life, terrorist who'd kill hundreds, 47 Marines waiting, Fire. Rounds left cannon at 2,600 feet per second. 2.8 seconds flight time. Rounds cross distance. Wind pushing. Gravity pulling. Physics and mathematics and training converging on 10-inch target. Fighter's head snapped back. Woman dropped unharmed. Target down. All hostiles eliminated. 0 civilian casualties. Silence. Then, Apache 2-1. Phoenix actual. Marine commander's voice thick with emotion. Enemy fire ceased. Moving to extraction. Don't know how you made those shots, but you saved 47 lives. Thank you. Alexis didn't respond immediately. Hands shaking. Adrenaline wearing off. 8 shots. 2.3 to 2.4 kilometers, 40+ miles per hour wind, moving targets, civilians in area, all hits, 0 collateral. Copy Phoenix actual, glad you're safe. Extraction went smoothly. Blackhawks swept in, loaded Marines departed. Apache circled until clear, then turned toward Kandahar. Graham silent for long time. Finally, Rivera, I've flown Apaches 6 years, seen the best pilots. Never seen anything like that. Just math and muscle memory. That was art. Last shot, 10 inches at 2.4K with hostage, not possible. Apparently it is. They'll say you got lucky. Alexis looked at Afghan landscape below. Mountains, valleys, somewhere, 47 Marines heading home. Let them. Alexis pulled the Apache up, transitioning to forward flight. The G-forces pushed her into the seat. Her vision narrowed. She ignored it, focused on the targeting display. 2 fighters left, both in the back of the compound, firing from small windows. Distance, 2.4 kilometers now. Wind, still gusting at 45 miles per hour. She fired at the 6th target, hit, 1 left. The last fighter saw his comrades fall. He grabbed a civilian, one of the women, pulled her in front of him as a shield. Hostile has a hostage, Graham called. I can't get it clean. I see it. The fighter was using the woman's body to shield most of his torso. Only his head and right shoulder were exposed. A target area maybe 10 inches wide. At 2.4 kilometers in 45 miles per hour wind. Rivera, you can't make that shot. Phoenix actual, 30 seconds. She transmitted. She adjusted. Wind, distance, the movement of the hostage struggling against her captor. The fighter's head bobbing as he shouted something. 10 inches, 2.4 kilometers, 45 miles per hour wind. Every instructor at Fort Rucker would say it was impossible. Brennan's voice echoed in her memory. I'm not discouraging you. I'm being realistic. With respect, sir, I didn't come here to be realistic. Her finger tightened on the trigger. She could feel everything. The vibration of the Apache through the cyclic stick. The wind data scrolling across her display. The compound walls, heat shimmering in the Afghan sun. The woman's terrified face. The fighter's head, bobbing, moving, a 10-inch target at impossible range. Her breathing slowed. Heart rate dropped. The world narrowed to the targeting reticle and the mathematics of the impossible. Wind, 45 miles per hour, gusting from northwest. Compensate right, 4 feet 2 inches. Distance, 2,421 meters. Flight time, 2.8 seconds. Lead the target. Movement, fighter shifting weight. Hostage struggling. Calculate trajectory intersection point. Her grandfather's voice. The only limits that matter are the ones you accept. 3 years at Fort Rucker. They said she was too small. They said the Apache would break her. They said physics doesn't lie. 18 months in Afghanistan. Danger close missions, precision strikes, 0 civilian casualties, every impossible shot made possible through skill, dedication, courage. And now this, the most impossible shot of all. 10 inches, 2.4 kilometers, 45 miles per hour wind, a hostage's life. A terrorist who would kill hundreds, 47 Marines waiting for her decision. Alexis fired. The 30-millimeter rounds left the cannon at 2,600 feet per second. 2.8 seconds of flight time. The rounds crossed the distance, wind pushing them, gravity pulling them, physics and mathematics, and 3 years of training converging on a 10-inch target. The fighter's head snapped back. The woman dropped to the ground, unharmed. "Target down!" Graham shouted. "All hostiles eliminated, compound neutralized, civilian casualties 0. For a moment, silence filled the radio. Then, "Apache 2-1. This is Phoenix Actual." The Marine commander's voice was thick with emotion. "Confirmed. Enemy fire has ceased. We are moving to extraction point. I don't know how you made those shots, but you just saved 47 lives. Thank you." Alexis didn't respond immediately. Her hands were shaking on the controls now, adrenaline wearing off. 8 shots, 2.3 to 2.4 kilometers, 40-plus miles per hour wind, moving targets, civilians in the target area, all hits, 0 collateral damage. "Copy that, Phoenix Actual," she finally transmitted. "Glad you're safe. Good luck out there." The extraction went smoothly. 2 Blackhawks swept in, loaded the Marines, including 4 wounded, and departed within 6 minutes. The Apache circled overhead until they were clear, then turned back toward Kandahar. In the back seat, Graham was silent for a long time. Finally, "Rivera, I've been flying Apaches for 6 years. I've seen the best pilots in the Army, combat veterans with thousands of hours. I've never seen anything like that. It's just math and muscle memory, Graham." "Bullshit. That was art. That last shot, 10 inches at 2.4 kilometers with a hostage, that's not possible." "Apparently it is. They're going to say you got lucky." Alexis looked out at the Afghan landscape passing below. The mountains, the valleys. Somewhere down there, 47 Marines were heading home to their families. "Let them," she said quietly. Back at Kandahar Airfield, the debriefing lasted 3 hours. Major Hendricks reviewed the gun camera footage 4 times, frame by frame, shot by shot, the mathematics of the impossible made visible on the screen. The room was silent as they watched the final shot. The hostage, the fighter, the 10-inch target area, the rounds crossing 2.4 kilometers, impact, the woman dropping, unharmed. 98% accuracy, Hendricks said finally, in combat conditions, danger close, civilians in the target area, wind gusting to 48 miles per hour, targets at extreme range. He looked at Alexis. "Captain Rivera, this is going in your file, and I'm recommending you for the Distinguished Flying Cross." "Thank you, sir." "They told me you were too small for combat aviation." "Yes, sir, they did." "I'm writing a letter to Fort Rucker. I'm telling them that Captain Alexis Rivera is proof that size doesn't determine capability. Skill does. Dedication does. Courage does." He stood and extended his hand. 47 Marines are going home to their families because you refused to take the easy shot, because you believed you could make the impossible shot. Thank you for your service, Captain. After the debriefing, Alexis walked out onto the tarmac. The sun was setting over the Afghan desert, painting the sky orange and gold. Her Apache sat on the flight line, weapons pods empty, still radiating heat from the day's mission. She stood there for a long moment, looking at the helicopter. 5'2", 110 pounds, too small. The Apache towered over her, massive and powerful, a flying tank, built for pilots twice her size, but she had made it work. Through modification, adaptation, dedication, through thousands of hours of training, through refusing to accept the limits others placed on her. Graham approached, flight helmet under his arm. "Hell of a mission, Captain." "Hell of a mission," she agreed. "I'm sorry I doubted you. Up there, when you switched to cannon, I thought you were crazy." "I was a little crazy." "No, you were confident. There's a difference." He paused. "That last shot, the hostage situation, how did you know you could make it?" Alexis thought about it. "I didn't know, not for certain, but I knew the alternative was unacceptable. 12 civilians dead. So I had to believe it was possible. And then I had to make it possible." Through skill. Through skill. And dedication. And courage, she smiled slightly. And maybe a little bit of crazy. They stood in silence for a moment, watching the sun sink toward the horizon. They're going to use that footage for training, Graham said. Every Apache pilot in the Army is going to study those shots. The Tangi Valley engagement. You're going to be famous. I don't want to be famous, I just want to do the job. Too late, you just rewrote the book on precision fire. Alexis looked back at the Apache, at the 30mm cannon that had made 8 impossible shots, at the cockpit where she'd spent thousands of hours learning to fly, learning to fight, learning to prove that the only limits that mattered were the ones she accepted. Captain Rivera, a young lieutenant approached. The Marines from Phoenix team are asking if they can meet you, to say thank you. Alexis turned. Of course. She followed the lieutenant to a tent where 47 Marines waited, some bandaged, some exhausted, all alive. Their platoon commander stepped forward. Captain Rivera, I'm Lieutenant Morrison, Phoenix Actual. I wanted to shake your hand. They shook hands. You saved our lives today, Morrison said. We were out of ammunition, enemy closing in, we thought we were done, and then you. He paused, emotion thick in his voice. 8 precision shots, through windows, around civilians, in that wind, at that distance. I've never seen anything like it. I was just doing my job, Lieutenant. No, ma'am, you did something extraordinary, something impossible. He looked at the other Marines. We're going home to our families because of you, because you refused to take the easy shot, because you valued civilian lives as much as ours. One by one, the Marines came forward, shook her hand, said thank you. Alexis stood there, 5'2", surrounded by Marines twice her size, and realized something. Size doesn't matter, skill matters, dedication matters, courage matters, and she had proved it. The Pentagon, Arlington, Virginia. 6 months later. Captain Alexis Rivera stood at attention in dress uniform as the Secretary of the Army pinned the Distinguished Flying Cross to her chest. For heroism while participating in aerial flight, Captain Rivera distinguished herself through sustained aerial flight in support of combat ground forces. Her actions reflect great credit upon herself and the United States Army. Applause. Among the audience, Chief Warrant Officer Brennan. After the ceremony, he approached. I heard about the mission. 8 precision shots, 0 collateral. They're using your footage in training now. The Tangi Valley engagement. I just did my job, sir. No, you did something nobody thought possible. You proved the only limits that matter are the ones we accept. He smiled. You told me that 3 years ago. You were right. Alexis thought about Fort Rucker. 5'2", 110 pounds, too small. Then she thought about 47 Marines, home with their families. Size doesn't determine capability. Skill does. Dedication does. And courage, Brennan added. And courage.